Hello, in this short demonstration, I'm going to use an angled palette knife and some previously created emotional doodle, one of my Emoodles, and I'm going to demonstrate mixing paint with an angled palette knife and two different applications of paint with the angled palette knife. So using the angled palette knife as a painting tool. All right, this is a good one to practice with tubes of paint that are either you don't like or you're almost at the end of them. Or this is also a good thing to practice with leftover paint on your palette. So getting comfortable with basic painting techniques and use of tools. So first I'm going to show mixing. I've got this Titan buff. I'm going to mix a little bit of, what is this, manganese blue into it. And I usually just take a little bit and I do sort of this scoop and flip. This is the easiest palette knife for me to work with. The other ones I just can sort of consider texture making tools. Okay, so there's some mixture. Let me get a couple others going. A couple of gradations for contrast. So again, scooping, flipping. This is the best way to get to know, get comfortable with paint, the texture of paint, mixing it. And it used to be for years, I would just mix with my brush. The problem is, what if you need to mix a large quantity of paint? And the other is, if you're mixing all your paint with your brush, the paint gets jammed into the base of your brush's bristles and it ruins your paintbrush. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3. I'll put a little bit of the pure mixture out. Okay, so I'm going to get started and I'm going to show you transparent and opaque applications with the angled palette knife. So I'll start with the pure manganese. I get a little bit, and I usually, you can't really see it on screen because it's overhead, but I do what's called overhead. What I'm doing is a 45-degree angle. I hold my palette knife at a 45-degree angle. I put my index finger on top and I position it where I want it. And if I use firm pressure, I will get a transparent paint application. So I'll do that in a few places. So I get a transparency. This paint is already sort of transparent to begin with. If I do the same 45-degree angle, but I use less pressure and I just lightly drag and pull, then I get an opaque application, little transparency. I can cut in firmly and reveal the doodles below. And so I want you just to play with this. So I'm pulling and getting transparency. I'm lightly pulling 45-degree angles, getting opaque, and then cutting in, scraping. And then sometimes what's left over, I just glob it somewhere else. So then it's a little bit of direct mixing. So I'm just going to finish this up. I'm not really going for any particular composition. I'm just getting comfortable with applying with light pressure for opaque paint, carving in, excavating like an archaeologist. Again, this is great to practice with leftover paint on your palette. I could leave some areas completely white and open. And then I can use the tip of this angled palette knife to scratch in. That's called Sgrafitto. If I don't like something, I just pull directly on top and I remove it. I'm going to make some of these Sgrafitto marks, and then in another lesson, I'll demonstrate dry brush technique on top. You can get thin, really thin toothpicks and do this if you want finer lines. Okay, and I think you get the idea. So, different techniques with the palette knife, color mixing, transparent, opaque applications, Sgrafitto, practicing all on an Emoodle.